They weren't able to do any of those things. So when you look at the competition that they won these football games and Dak Prescott did play better, you have to think of the overall playoff picture and who they're going to play in order to try to get into it and figure that this is the only game out of those 4 teams between Dallas and Seattle this weekend. That's a do or die game. So when we're sitting here talking about the Dallas Cowboys, yes, it's great they went 3-3, but we expect and people expected way different things out of this group because of the offensive line, because of all the other things. So they can be happy with where they're at, but I don't see them making the playoffs.
Yeah, I don't think they're going to make the playoffs. Nope. If they were wishing, they wish they were 4-2 during the streak.
Yeah,
it'd
make a whole difference.
What I'm concerned about is, I mean, this is a rare time, Dak, Zeke playing together. But we're getting ready to finish up 2 calendar years with them being together. And after seeing those 2 calendar years, the Dallas Cowboys have not won a playoff game with these guys. Now, to me, that's a huge disappointment because it takes me back to not capitalize on last year's 13-3. I thought they would be 10-6 this year. I predicted they would be 10-6. They would win the division. They might get into the playoffs, but I knew there was a correction coming. Now they're on pace for that 10-6. Probably won't make the playoffs, but no playoff success without Dak and Zeke. It mirrors their lack of playoff success the last 20 years. So it's exciting time in Dallas now. They got these young players. They got an offensive line, but it's still the basic same thing that we've seen in Dallas the last 20 years. I think the last 20 years, the record's like 4 or 5 games above 500. That's about it. So I didn't have great expectations for them. I wish they would have won 4 games so they could get more into the playoff hunt. But when you've been through the first 2 years of Zach and Dak and Zeke and not have no playoff success, to me, those are 2 years you're not going to be able to get back. And it really shrinks the window that they could be a dominant team.
Especially we've seen in Seattle, like how things change once you got to pay those young players. Once they're not on rookie contracts anymore and how much harder it becomes.
The offensive line is being paid now, but when Zeke's contract comes up, Dak's contract, they're going to have to make wholesale changes.
Yeah. Here's the big concern for me, because you're right, Jenna. I said go 3-3. Find a way to go 3-3. Right now, they're wishing, as Cece said, all right, even if we can't be 4-2, can one of those 3 wins please have come against Atlanta? Can we switch it around so, like, they have 1 fewer win?
Next question for you. If we would told you Alfred Morris was going to gain 5 yards a carry, would you would have said, okay, well, that would have been your record?
Oh, no. If I knew
the backup running back, he's going to average 5.0 a carry, something like that.
Yeah.
Would you think they were going to go 3-3?
No, I would have thought they could have gone 4-2. Maybe 5-1, depending on what happens. Because I used to really believe in Dak Prescott. And this week was another game. By the way, I know they won. Well, no, I got to be fair.
Absolutely.
I know they won. Dak was bad again. This is now in the 6 games without Zeke. 4 games, he's been flatly bad. And then the Giants game where it's like, oh, okay, at least in that game he was really good. No. He was average for 3 quarters, and then in the 4th quarter, the whole offense clicked. They had a bunch of yards after catch, dealing with some rookies in the Giants secondary and Landon Collins being out. And so now I look at it. I have this awesome sheet of the 9 possible playoff teams in the NFC and their rankings on both sides of the ball. I'm going to ignore the rankings. I'm just going to look at the names of the teams. Tell me when I say a team name that you feel like if the Cowboys were playing them in the playoffs, the Cowboys have a quarterback edge. Seattle, Detroit, Atlanta, Carolina, New Orleans, Los Angeles, Minnesota, Philadelphia. Like the last 2, you're like, oh, well, they have backups in. Yeah. So, like, I think they have an edge on Nick Foles.
Or you could make an argument with Stafford if you don't like Stafford, Nick, right?
Sure.
In Case Keenum.
Sure. The 2 backups, Keenum and Foles, maybe Stafford, but no definites. No, like, oh, yeah, the Cowboys have an edge there, and there. Man, that's jarring. For at least for me, where I was with Dak 6 weeks later, when I see 5 touchdowns, 10 turnovers, Dak's whole claim to fame was takes care of the football. Yeah. Best touchdown interception ratio in league history, through not only through 20 games, through 24 games, it's just for a career. That was his calling card. Take care of the football. 10 turnovers in 6 games. 2 more last night. That's the concerning part for Dallas, even though they got the win, even though they escaped with 1 in Oakland.
And now, I mean, we can't put it all on Dak. Granted, he hasn't played well, But you have to factor in Tyron Smith is out during that time, which he may be out against this game against Seattle with an ankle injury. You look on the other side of the ball, Sean Lee, we see the way that he's played the last 2 weeks when he's gotten back in that defense. So as much as we don't want to put it all on deck, when you're the quarterback and you got the football in your hand each and every series and it's on you to protect it, and you have 10 turnovers in that 6-game span, that's a problem.
It's a problem, too, because from an offensive standpoint, how much of the playbook in the second year can you open up and expand?
Yes.
Okay? I watched Jared Goff yesterday. Now, I know they have opened up an encyclopedia of information for him to, because I watched him play
like
last
night
year.
and day from last year to
I mean,
this year.
I was ready to call him bust. I was, man, that dude's a bust right there. That dude don't have the body, the arm strength. He don't have the confidence. The game is moving too fast for him. That dude is a bust. Now, man, they run reverses, screen passes. They run read options. His ability to get any play called at the line of scrimmage, those are the things that concern me, because now you put more on Dak, and then he digresses, he goes backwards. So as a coordinator and how you grow his game, that becomes a problem into the future.
The other thing you see when you see the Rams, CC, how many of those Rams wide receivers would be the number 1 receiver on Dallas right now? And that, that's in Dak's defense.
Yeah.
His receivers aren't helping.
Yeah, I'm stopped talking about wide receivers.
Okay.
Like,
All right, the catch, you don't want to talk about what's the catch.
And yet, with
who
all the
catches.
problems that the Cowboys have, they are still alive.
Yeah.
This late into the season, so something has to be
And
fixed.
fortunately for them, Seattle's who they play next week. I say fortunately only because that's one of the teams they need to get ahead of in this playoff race.
Right. All right, David, stick around. Coming up, is it starting to look like nobody can beat the New England Patriots? Talk about that next on First Things First.